afternoon from Los Angeles and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alyssa Corum here. I'm joined by Ken Shreve, and on today's show we're going to be taking a look at 3 stocks potentially for your radar, including Eli Lilly, Zoom, and Bilibili. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. It was another bloody day on Wall Street. Severe losses here, Ken. The Nasdaq closing down about 4.7%, losing as much as 5.6% intraday. So a little bit of relief, I guess if you could call it that, late in the session. But it's safe to say now, with this new low here, that the rally attempt is over.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was very bullish gains for the stock market on Tuesday, but very bearish declines today. So it was a short-lived rally attempt for the major stock indexes. Really sharp losses. The World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a global pandemic. Not a big surprise there, but it certainly didn't bring any buyers into the stock market. You also had a pretty bearish market call from Goldman Sachs that they put a price target on the S&P 500 around 2450, I think it was, which would infer another 10% decline from current levels. So they were talking about a horrendous second and third quarter earnings season, and that looks to be the case. You know, when you have an economic slowdown, that hurts corporate earnings, and clearly, you know, we've been talking about a bond market that's been scared about a recession. Clearly, the stock market is concerned about the same thing, and when you have a big slowdown in economic growth, that really hurts corporate earnings.
Right, and you know, the truth is, no one has a crystal ball. Who would have thought that yesterday we would have seen the kind of gains that we saw? But bottom line, it's not a good idea to be trying to call the bottom here. We've been recommending for a while for investors to be going into cash. So you don't want to be trying to call the bottom, but you do want to be aware when the market tide changes. That's the time to start getting back in. You don't want to be trying to buy at a discount here or buy the dip.
No, and don't make market decisions based on what an analyst is saying. Listen, the note from Goldman was influential, and but you don't want to make decisions based on what an analyst says. A lot of his reasoning was relatively sound. But the bottom line is we've seen buy signals at every single market bottom in the past. Investors Business Daily was started in 1984. We've seen a lot of stock market bottoms. We've made, and we've seen buy signals at every market bottom. We'll see one at some point, and as always, readers will, read about it at investors.com. And we're not there yet. And this, as we've been saying, the selling is probably going to take a little time to run its course.
Yeah.
But, until then, you just kind of stay engaged and watch IBD Live and build your watch list.
Yes, exactly. We are watching the situation very closely, including stocks that could be primed to launch higher whenever the correction does end. So let's start off with a look at Eli Lilly, ticker LLY, falling about 0.7% today, but holding at that 50-day line after sharply undercutting that level pretty recently and finding support at the 200-day, that gray line there, Ken. Yeah,
so ironically, Goldman Sachs was in the news today again, making a bullish call on Eli Lilly. They added the stock to their conviction buy list. But, what we like most about Eli Lilly is that it's kind of holding support at its 50-day moving average here after a pretty nice breakout in December. Now, with Eli Lilly, you get a nice dividend yield of 2%, but you also get strong, price performance, which is the best of both worlds when you're looking at a dividend stock. So Eli Lilly, a diversified drug maker, they've got a big presence in the diabetes market, immunology, oncology. So a very diversified drug maker, and technically a pretty healthy stock in this market.
Yeah, an incredibly strong relative strength line there, Ken, which is what we like to see for those watch list stocks. Also, Zoom Video looking like it's continuing to outperform amid this market turmoil. We do know that plays like Zoom Video, which have that, whether it's remote working type exposure there like Zoom Video does, seemingly benefiting from the coronavirus. So this stock holding up nicely as well, tacking on a 1.7% gain today.
Yeah, we had a really strong earnings report from Zoom Video. It's not the first time we've talked about Zoom Video on this program, but we want to talk about strong stocks, and amid all this market weakness, Zoom Video has been an outstanding performer. Again, a really strong earnings report last week. The market was expecting a great report, and the market got a great report, as well as bullish guidance from Zoom Video. So this is a company, as you said, that they operate a video conferencing platform. So with more and more workers staying at home or working from home, this company is seeing bona fide, legitimate demand for their product and service, and just like the look of this chart as well.
Yeah, and also liking the look of the chart of Bilibili out of China in the internet content industry group. Also a coronavirus tie there, as many consumers in China started forming new habits with that lockdown over there, watching a lot more video content, playing a lot more video games. So we will be getting earnings from Bilibili in not too long from now, Ken, and it's holding above the 50-day.
Yeah, I think they report next week, so it should be interesting to see what Bilibili says. But yeah, this is kind of ironic to see the number of China-based stocks, because Bilibili is not the only one. We've been talking about, VIP Shop, which had an excellent earnings report.
E-commerce, education.
Yeah, education. So there's a lot of kind of internet-based China companies. This is very strange amid an expected sharp slowdown in China's economic growth as well. You've got a lot of China stocks that are still holding up well. So Bilibili, you can see here, just kind of holding above the red line there on the chart. That's its 50-day moving average. So wouldn't be surprised to see a good earnings report next week.
Yeah, some bright spots to keep in mind, again, for when we do get confirmation of upward momentum in the market. Not seeing it at this point, but those are on our radar. And as Ken mentioned, on IBD Live, that is really where you want to be tuning in every morning. It's our daily live stream where we're breaking down market conditions, stocks to watch for your radar, trading tactics, everything that you need right now to really make sense of what's going on in the current market.
Yeah, exactly right. We had a very busy show this morning, and it'll be another busy show tomorrow, just keeping people abreast of positive market action when we see it, and highlighting negative market action as well, and all the while keeping up with stocks that, again, with bullish relative strength lines, stocks acting well in a weak market. Right.
IBD Live really providing that perspective you need when the conditions are turbulent like this, but also for when they do improve, and stocks that are starting to look good. All right, and we also are celebrating 1 year of our Investing with IBD podcast. Can you believe it, Ken?
That's incredible.
Yeah. So the 52nd episode, marking our 1 year anniversary, will drop tomorrow, and we have a very special guest, and that is Scott O'Neill. So you definitely don't want to miss this episode with host Arusha Peiris, joined by Scott O'Neill. I'm sure there's just going to be a wealth of knowledge, lots of great nuggets. You definitely don't want to miss that.
Yeah, hard to believe it's been a year, really.
Yeah. All right, and you can check out that latest episode when it drops tomorrow at investors.com/podcast. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today, and be sure to tune back in right here, same time, same place tomorrow.